Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. Today's video I'm really excited to share with you a custom knife from knife maker Shane P. Atwood. And he is a knife maker out of Utah. And considering that I live in Utah, it's quite an exciting piece to have in my collection. And I've been after his work for some time now. So I'm going to have a lot of backstory with this particular knife. I hope you guys will bear with me, but let's just get into the specs to start off with today. So we are taking a look at a titanium frame lock flipper, and this is a custom, it's a handmade knife from, again, Shane Atwood, called the Freedom Fighter. Blade length on this particular one is about 3.5 inches. Handle is just about 4.6 inches. The thickness of the handle is about 0.52 inches. It is 3V steel and it weighs in at 5.3 ounces. So I did bring another knife for size comparison. And here we are with the ZT0562CF. So a little tiny bit shorter than the 0562CF. But not by much there, just a smidgen. Anyways, so there's the size comparison between the two. Now let's, I want to show you what the knife comes with here because I think it's a really cool presentation. So first is just a little pouch closure thing, but the thing that I really like is his certificate of authenticity here. So let's take a quick look at the back of it before we get to the good part. Just tells basic keeping of the knife, disclosure, you're responsible for it once it leaves his hands, on really nice paper, but here's what the inside looks like. So a really cool certificate of authenticity with a picture of the knife. It outlines that he is from Roosevelt, Utah, hand ground blade, CPM 3V carbon steel, 6AL4V titanium. It talks about the standoffs, the screws, pivot collars, lock bar stabilizer, and pocket clip are all titanium. Knife was finished in December of 2015, and this was number 15 knife out of 2015. So he only made 15 knives in 2015, and this is his 66th folder altogether. So really cool certificate of authenticity. Just a really nice touch, kind of takes it over the top there, but really cool. So, alright, we'll bring the knife back here. Okay, so, overall impressions, fantastic build quality, amazing fit and finish, gorgeous detail. The colors are kind of, I don't know, they're kind of in your face, but not over the top. I really like the way the knife was executed. So let's get into the backstory on this particular knife, if you'll bear with me. I became aware of Shane Atwood more than a year, probably a year and a half ago, when he first started up on social media. Obviously, my other knife friends here in Utah turned me on to him, and then I actually had the opportunity to meet Shane at a get-together maybe 6 months ago, and it was hosted in somewhere mid-Utah with Ryan Weeks, Shane Atwood, David Brown. You guys might know them as David Brown's a Kydex worker, Ryan Weeks is a fixed blade maker, primarily done some cool collaborations with Borka blades. Anyways, I met Shane there, and he brought one of his pieces, which was a hot rod, I believe, that it was a build for Justin Laffert. So I'll put a link to that video in the upper right hand corner if you guys want to go check that out. But I was really blown away by the quality of the knife, the details, the fit and the finish, and I knew right then and there that I absolutely had to have a piece from him at some point. And then the fact that I live in Utah and he is a Utah maker, as you can see on his mark right there, is just it's really cool. Like, if you guys watch my channel know, I don't really care if it's made in the USA. I'm fine with things made overseas. I care about quality, execution, finish. but something made in your state or something made in your city where you've had an opportunity to interact with the maker, to meet with them, to see their shop, to shake their hand, it just brings a whole new level of enjoyment and a whole new level of experience to purchasing these handmade craft pieces. That, you know, the quality, the craftsmanship, it gives it a new and exciting appeal for me to have almost a relationship, as it were, with the maker of something that you carry and that you use and that you treasure. And I think some of you guys who collect custom knives know that. Or maybe you've met the designer of, the production knife that you have. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people who have met, Rick Hinder, and they might own they don't even have to own a custom Hinder. They might own one of his production or mid-tech Hinders, or even a collaborative piece with ZT. And meeting Rick Hinder in person brought a whole new level of enjoyment to using and carrying that knife, and maybe talking with him about the design features. I hope that makes sense, but that's what this was for me. That's when I knew that I absolutely had to have a piece from Shane. So, many of you guys may not have heard of Shane Atwood. Again, he's out in Roosevelt, Utah, which is like the sticks of Utah. I live in Utah, and I don't even really know where it is, but it's out in the sticks. But he does have a 2-year wait list, so there are people who are definitely aware of him. They know him. They're on his lists. Occasionally he'll throw pieces up on Instagram, which is what this one was. This was actually built, commissioned by someone to have him build. They had some things happen in their life to where they could no longer buy it, and so he put it up on Instagram, and I immediately jumped on this particular piece. Anyway, so a little bit under the radar maker, but those who've been around for a while certainly know of Shane here. So let's jump into the knife a little bit before I tell you more about Shane. So, acid stonewash 3V blade steel, hardened to 60 to 61 here. Shane does all of his own heat treat in-house. He has an oven. Everything on this knife was done by hand or with basic tools, drill press, a small manual mill, grinder, bandsaw. I mean, that's how this particular knife was made. So let me give you a shot of the standoffs there, which are really exceptional. Anyway, so slight recurve with a swedge, drop point, beautiful edge, and the flipping action is absolutely exceptional on this knife. Fires really hard, ceramic bearings, quite smooth, just amazing flipping action, has a great feel to it. The knife feels very solid, doesn't feel like anything wobbles or wiggles. I mean, just 100% solid in every regard. So there's some jimping here at the top. It's we'll call it about medium traction, I suppose. It gives your, it's an indicator for the thumb, I guess, but the rest of the handle is so ergonomic that it's really not a concern. So anyways, that's what the blade looks like. Should hold an edge really, really well. Has some stainless properties, but it's a steel that you want to, take care of, put something on. Here's his mark again. Shane P. Atwood. He goes by Spall Knives for short, out of Utah. And I'll put links down below to his Instagram, his Facebook page, and he had another, I think those are the main ones, Instagram, Facebook. He doesn't have a website. Oh, he has a subforum on the USN if you're interested. So those are the main methods of contact. Anyway, so that's the blade. Let's take a quick look at the handle. So this is a really interesting finish that he did. As you can see, he gave the handle a crater pattern, and then he anodized the entire thing this kind of light blue coloration, and then he came back with the grinder and he took off all the highs, leaving rounded the edges too, got all the color off the edges, just leaving the craters of blue, and then the flats a high satin, almost a polished finish, but it should hide wear quite well, as the highs will probably take the scratches and not the lows, but just a lot of color, a lot of vibrance. My wife actually got this one in the mail for me, or she was home to sign for it. And I won't tell you exactly what she texted me, but she was like, wow, that's really pretty. I hope that's yours. Sometimes I'll get knives in just to borrow, to review. So anyways, I was happy to tell her this one was mine. I did end up having to sell another custom piece to help fund this one, which breaks my heart, but really happy to have this one in. So anyways, the pivot and pivot collar are titanium, all given that blue, and then you can see he grinded away the, I guess, the highs or almost the flats on the pivot there to leave the blue in just the recessed portions. Pivot collar is that nice blue. Same thing on the other side. Over travel stop, same treatment, and then the pocket clip has been given the same treatment too, which is kind of cool because then the pocket clip just kind of blends in with the design, almost disappears. Hidden screws, the screws are attached from the inside, so you can see there. And then the standoffs, he basically gave the standoffs the same treatment, anodized them blue, and then came back either on the lathe or a belt, I'm not sure, and took the flats to a satin finish. So yeah, I think it's a really cool finish. It might be over the top for some of you guys, but I think it's really, really cool. Anodized the lock bar cutout too. Again, just really fun, really interesting. Definitely has a handmade, a craftsmanship type feel to it. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels so completely solid. Just really well done. Great tolerances. Really, really happy to have this one. Whoops. Anyways, flipping action again. Ceramic bearings. I think the D10 is ceramic too. But just exceptional action. As you can see, you've kind of got a forward guard here, and then you have 1, 2, and 3, you know, ground down kind of choil portions, and it locks in the hand incredibly well. Super comfortable, just incredibly comfortable. I have extra large hands, but even my wife with her, I don't know, women's medium-sized hands, she found this to be quite comfortable as well. So, yeah. All right, let's talk about Shane a little bit. As you guys can tell, I really enjoy the knife. Really happy that I jumped on it when it became available on Instagram. But Shane's been making knives for about 9 years. He did fixed blades for the first 5, and he's only been doing folders for the last 4 years, but he's a part-time maker. And here's what's really incredible about Shane. He was absolutely one of the nicest people that I have ever met in person. I will say that without reservation. Just a hard-working, nice guy, kind of that farm boy type of charm, but I think the man understands hard work, and here's why. He has a full-time job. He only makes knives part-time. He has 4 kids, plus they've adopted 2 kids from China. Plus he has a small farm that they live on, plus he helps on his dad's larger farm as his dad's getting older. And then he finds time to work on knives part-time somewhere in that crazy schedule. I don't know how he does it, but you know, again, he doesn't have a ton of time to devote to knife making, so he only made 15 knives for 2015. And his high, 1 year, he made 40 knives at most. But there's definitely a lot of time and a lot of attention, a lot of love that goes into his work. And if you take a look at Justin Laffert's video of his hot rod, or you take a look at the details on this knife, I think that's very clear, without question. So, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He drug his son along, who was maybe 14. I was really impressed by his son's demeanor, quiet, listen, very respectful. So, just an all-around good guy, good family, very much deserving of, you know, our patronage or our business. So, anyways, nothing but very positive things to say about Shane. I did chat with him. You know, this started off as something fun, then a hobby, then a side business. Everything's pretty much hand-done, basic tools. He will be going to the USN this year. He typically goes to the USN show, has a couple knives there. As I mentioned, a 2-year wait on his books. And every so often he might work on some designs in between that he might put up for sale on his subforum or on Instagram. Again, follow him on both. And one other thing that I really, really found impressive about Shane in general is there is no material he will not work with. This one's an all titanium frame lock. He does thumb studs. He does, you know, the materials he uses range from like wood to steel to mokutai to exotic woods. I mean, he works with every material under the sun. I've seen freedom fighters that look nothing like this knife, that you would have to put side by side to realize the shape is the same because the materials are so drastically different. He does warranty his knives. If you send something into him, he tries to get it back out within a week's time, which is something that's very important to me and something that I appreciate. 6 months to work on warranty on a knife, that's a rant in and of itself. But anyways, his customer service is up to snuff. I think he gets it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the most part. Again, really happy to have this piece. I have wanted to get something from him since I met him 6 months ago and was really fortunate to have this one come up. I may have another piece coming from him soon. We will see. He's been working on a kind of a fun new design, and we've chatted a bit, so we'll see when and if that happens. But if so, I'll certainly do another video. But anyways, guys, please give him a follow. Check out his work. Great guy, great builder, quality pieces. Really happy to have this one. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching and bearing with me with all the kind of the background story on this particular knife and maker. But give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. And feel free to follow me on Instagram. I'm also Epic Snuggle Bunny there. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care.